Hi, this is Krista at The Secret Yarnery. Today we're doing a super easy join as you go for our African flowers. What's so great about doing join as you go is it doesn't really take up any more time than just finishing that last round of your hexagon. It has a cute little woven technique that just happens automatically as the pattern works itself out. This looks great joined all in one color so that the flowers really stand out. But for this tutorial, I did a different color for each hexagon so you can see exactly how that join works as we work our way along. If you'd like to follow along with a written pattern, it is available over on my website, secretyarnery.com. This is the exact same joining technique that we use to make our exercise ball covers, except for the exercise ball cover, you'll be starting with a pentagon and not a hexagon. But for the tutorial, we're doing hexagons. If you did pentagon, it would just mean you had one square less to join. So let's get started. To join your African flowers as you go, the JAYGO method, you will pick whichever motif you're starting with. It can either be the hexagon or the pentagon, depending on whatever pattern you're using. If you will be making these into the exercise ball cover or the crochet yoga ball cover, you will be starting with a pentagon. But for any other project or anything you want to be flat, it will start with the regular hexagon. So finish the last round on one motif or one African flower, so row number 5. I'll put a link to how to make your African flowers in the description box down below, as well as in the cards up above. And you want to finish one up to row 5. So move the hexagon that you've completed just to the top of your workspace. And our first block, we're just going to be joining on one side. So we want to complete round 5 on our next block, leaving just one side open. So I've done my last row around all of my hexagon, leaving one side open where I'm going to be joining. And I've done one double crochet into that center stitch or into our corner stitch. There's no chain, nothing like that, just one double crochet. So now on the block, we're going to be joining 2. I want to find my corner space where my 2 double crochets are and put my hook down into that space. You always want to be working down into your work. So grab that yarn, bring it up, turn your hook facing down and slip stitch. So there is our first join. Now get everything situated again. Wrap your yarn, and this is my corner of the block I'm joining, so I have to do one double crochet back into that same stitch. So there's our double crochet. Bring your hook towards yourself so you can see the next stitch. And the next stitch is right here, right there. So put your hook down into the next stitch, grab your yarn and bring it back up, and slip stitch to join. So now we've done 2 joins. Wrap your yarn, make one double crochet into your next stitch, just to finish off the block we're working on. Pull your hook towards yourself to see the next stitch. So our next stitch is right here. Put your hook down into the block you've completed, bring your yarn up, and slip stitch to join. Wrap your yarn and do a double crochet into the hexagon you're working on. Fold your work towards you, pull your hook towards yourself, and look for that next stitch. It's right here. So put your hook down into the block you've completed, bring your yarn up and through, and slip stitch to join. One double crochet into the block you're joining. Look for your next stitch right here. Remember to pull your hook down towards yourself. If you leave it up, it looks like this is the stitch we're joining to, and we have skipped a stitch. We've skipped the stitch that we want. So always bring your hook down and look for that next stitch. So hook down into your work you finished, bring your yarn back up, and slip stitch to join. 1 double crochet into the block we're working on. Fold your work down, pull your hook towards yourself to find that next stitch right here. Bring your yarn up and slip stitch to join. Wrap your yarn, 1 double crochet into the block we're working on. Fold your work towards yourself with your hook and look for that next stitch. Put your hook down into your work, bring your yarn back up and slip stitch to join. 1 double crochet into the block you're joining. Pull your hook towards yourself so you can see that next stitch right here. Put your hook down into your work, bring your yarn up and slip stitch to join. Wrap your yarn, 1 more double crochet into the work you're working on. Bring your hook towards yourself so you can see that next stitch right here. Put your hook down into your work, bring your yarn up and slip stitch to join. And don't worry if it feels like you have too many stitches on the block you finished and you ran out of stitches down below. We still have to do our corner, and it's lining up exactly with our corner stitch in the block we have finished. Make your last stitch into that same stitch where we started. That'll be our corner. So there's our double crochet. And now when we're working into our corner space on the block we're working, we want to work into the corner space of the block we are joining to. So don't worry about going into the stitch, we want to go right into that space. So into the space, slip stitch to join, and we're not going to chain. Our slip stitch counts as our chain 1. So we're just going to slip stitch straight over to the top of that chain 3 to finish, or to the top of our chain. So keep your yarn pulled a little bit tight and slip stitch into the top of that chain to join. 1 small little slip stitch and a chain 1 to secure your yarn. Cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in later. Pull your hook up and your yarn through and snug that down. So now we have joined 2 blocks. Our next block we are going to join right here. So we're going to join on 2 sides. So again, put your work up into the top area of your workspace and get your next block ready. Now we're going to be joining on 2 sides. So you want to finish doing your block on all sides except for 2. So you want to leave 2 sides empty. And I worked into my corner space just with 1 double crochet, no chaining, because our slip stitch will count as that chain. Find the corner space of the first block we're joining to right here in between those double crochets. And we want to work right into that space. So I'm going to put my hook down into that space, grab the yarn and bring it up, and slip stitch to join. Wrap your yarn and put it right back into the same stitch because we're working on our corner of the block we're working on. So there's our double crochet. And now pull your hook towards yourself so you can find that next stitch, and it is right here. That very first stitch. So now we're working into our stitches. Put your hook down inside your work, bring your yarn up, slip stitch to join. And I'm not worrying about holding my work, I'm letting it just hang and sit there. Working on a table helps. Wrap your yarn and 1 double crochet into the block you are joining. Pull your hook towards yourself so you can see that next stitch right there. Put your hook down into the block you finished, bring your yarn up, and slip stitch to join. Wrap your yarn, 1 more double crochet into the block you're joining. Pull your hook towards yourself so you can see that next stitch right here. Put your hook in, bring your yarn through, and slip stitch to join. Wrap your yarn, 1 more double crochet. Pull your hook towards yourself, look for that next stitch, and slip stitch to join. Wrap your yarn, 1 double crochet. Pull your hook down, look for that next stitch. Put your hook down inside the block you finished, bring your yarn up, and slip stitch to join. So 1 double crochet into your work, look for that next stitch, slip stitch to join. 1 double crochet into your work, look for the next stitch, put your hook down into the work you finished, and slip stitch to join. Wrap your yarn, 1 double crochet into your work, look for the next stitch, slip stitch to join. 1 double crochet into your work. So this is the first double crochet of our corner. So we want to go right into this corner space. So I'm not going into the stitch, I'm going to go straight into the corner, bring my yarn back, so 2 loops on my hook, and I'm really pulling on it. I want that to be nice and snug. I want tight joins in my corners. Look for the corner of your opposite block, put your hook down inside, bring your yarn back up. So there's 3 loops on my hook, and I'm going to slip stitch through all of those. So wiggle, wiggle, and wiggle. Wrap your yarn and finish that corner with a double crochet into the same stitch. And now we can kind of relax. Everything's going to be nice and tight in that corner. Pull your hook towards yourself so you can see that first stitch, and we're going to start working right here into this very first stitch after the corner. So 1 slip stitch. And now we work along this side, 1 double crochet into our work, 1 slip stitch into the stitch above. So double crochet into the block you're joining, and slip stitch into the next stitch up above. Double crochet into the block you're joining. Always remember to pull your hook down so you can see that next stitch, and slip stitch to join. I think of it as making like a letter I. So my double crochet is my letter I, and I have to punctuate. So I always look for the right spot to dot that I. So double crochet, and we punctuate with a slip stitch. So every double crochet gets a slip stitch at the top. Double crochet into your work, slip stitch at the top. Double crochet into your work, slip stitch into the block you've finished. So now I'm working into my corner. So I'm going to work into the corner of the block I'm working on. So there's my double crochet. I'm going to find that corner space and make 1 slip stitch into the corner space, and then slip stitch straight over to the top of that chain to join. Right over here, 2 strands of that chain on my hook, and slip stitch. And you want this to be a tight slip stitch also. Chain 1 to secure your yarn. Cut your yarn, pull your hook up and your yarn through, and snug that down to secure. So that's what it looks like so far. Nice, sweet little joins going all the way around. Lays nice and flat, looks great. So now keep going, joining on 2 sides. 1, 2, 3, and when you get to your 4th, we'll be joining on 3 sides. So I'll show you how to do that next. When you have worked all the way around your center motif, even if it is just a pentagon, you have 1 spot left, no matter what the shape was in the beginning. And this just means we're going to be joining on 3 sides. So starting the same way with your finished work up above, and the next block you're joining just done on the 3 sides, leaving the 3 sides open. Find that first corner of where we're going to be joining to. Put your hook down inside, bring your yarn up, and slip stitch to join. Into the very same space, 1 double crochet, or the very same stitch. Pull your hook towards yourself so you can see that next stitch, and make 1 slip stitch to join. Wrap your yarn, 1 double crochet into your block. Pull your hook towards yourself, find that next stitch, and 1 slip stitch to join. 1 double crochet into your work, and 1 slip stitch into the block you have finished. double crochet into your work, slip stitch into the next stitch of your finished block, double crochet into your work, pull your hook towards yourself, look for that next stitch, down into the stitch, bring your yarn up and slip stitch to join, double crochet into your work, slip stitch into the next stitch to join, double crochet into your work, slip stitch into the next stitch to join, double crochet into your work, slip stitch into the next stitch to join. Now I'm in my corner stitch, so I'm going to start my corner on the block I'm working on. And into that first corner space, bring my yarn up into the opposite corner space, down and bring your yarn up, turn your hook and slip stitch through all of that to join. Lots of tension on your yarn and one double crochet into that same spot, the same stitch. Now pull your hook back and look for that next stitch. It's right there, right after the corner space. Slip stitch to join. And double crochet into the next stitch of your work to join. So keep going, making a slip stitch into your finished work and a double crochet into the block you are joining all the way along until you reach the corner. When you've done your double crochet into your corner stitch, the fourth stitch on your petal, that's when you want to start going into your corners. So down into the first corner, bring your yarn up, down into the second corner, bring your yarn up, and slip stitch tightly through all of that to join. Still keeping tension on your yarn, one double crochet into the same stitch to finish the corner on the block you're joining. Pull your hook down, look for that next stitch right after the corner, put your hook in and slip stitch to join. So now keep going along this side, making one double crochet into the work you are joining and one slip stitch into the work you have finished all the way along until you reach the end of this side. Make your last double crochet into the same stitch that you started and your last slip stitch into that space, the corner space of the work you have finished. Slip stitch, jump straight over and slip stitch into the top of your chain. Tight little slip stitch, chain one to secure your yarn. Cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to work later. Pull your hook up and your yarn through and snug that down to secure. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and now can work really quick joining up your hexagons or African flowers. And I'd love to see how yours turned out. You can follow me over on Instagram at Secret Yarnery or join our Facebook group, the Secret Yarnery Crochet Community. If you haven't subscribed to this channel already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and the notification bell beside that so you don't miss out on any awesome tutorials just like this. See you in the next video and stay hooked.